One way that I have found in my own recovery really effective is when I've just simply used that model of perception and turned it around to figure out what it is that I'm dealing with. So when I'm standing in front of the mirror and I'm feeling uncertain about my body or concerned about what people might think about me, when I reframe it as my anxiety level is high at the moment and this is creating feelings of further anxiety in me and uncertainty, that really helps me, so that I'm not standing in the mirror saying my body is making me feel like this, but when I pull it back and I say my anxiety is creating these feelings inside of me. So one thing that we need to think about, and again this has been really helpful for me, is how does anxiety manifest? How do you know when you've got anxiety? Is it the thing out here? Is it the worries that you have in your mind? Is it the way that you're reacting to this particular thing outside of yourself or a person outside of yourself? Or is it an underlying physiological state? And again, that's really helpful for you to understand what it is that you're going through. I've found it, as I said a couple of times, they're very helpful to do this. You've got stress hormones coursing through your system. You might call it an elevated physiological state or a state of physiological arousal. It might be that your heart rate is a little higher, you're more conscious of things physically, things touching your skin, elastic digging in, your hearing becomes a little more acute, you become much more aware of things on the periphery. And when I say heightened, it's just that level of alertness is higher than it would be otherwise. And just imagine you've got this little beacon inside of you scanning the environment from inside, scanning your environment for threat, because you're already feeling threatened. You already have that elevated physiological arousal. So you are scanning to confirm what you're already feeling. It's a chicken or egg thing, because sometimes we will say that I did this and it created anxiety. I did that, I ate that, my body did this and it created anxiety. That's chicken or egg. What came first, the anxiety or the thing itself? If you have an eating disorder, you had the anxiety. It is an underlying anxiety. So the anxiety's there first, and you learn to associate things outside of yourself with the unpleasant feelings that you were having. We learn to think about and relate to our environment, to our food, to our clothing, to our body in terms of those things, this thing, that thing is making me feel uncomfortable, making me unhappy. That is the thing that's causing the fear. When you turn it around on itself and say, I have a high level of anxiety, I have an elevated threat response, I have a high level of baseline anxiety. I know these are kind of medical or clinical terms. Maybe if you just say I'm wound up already, I'm wound too tight already, and so when I face certain things I just get wound even more tightly. So the way of dealing with it is not attending to the things that wind you up or raise it, it's attending to the baseline anxiety itself, coming back to ways of getting that physiological arousal, that wound upness and all of the physical and psychological things that it brings with it, bringing it down to a level that's manageable and helps you lower your anxious responses to the things in the environment and the challenges that you face every day as you're practicing remission. How do you know whether you're in an anxious state? What do you do to check? Something I do that's really effective, and I've said this a few times, a body check. Very helpful. So right now, as you're sitting in front of this video watching it, hopefully you've got popcorn and a milkshake, just check where your shoulders are. And okay, I know they're going to be just under your neck, but where are they in space? Can I get you to do one thing? Just drop them for me like this. Just drop them. Were they high? Did they move a little bit? Yeah. Now check your breathing. Where are you breathing? You're breathing in your upper body? Up this part, or belly breathing? Take a deep breath through your nose, just into your belly. Let it out. Drop the shoulders. Okay, I just want now to do a little scan, head to toe. Just let everything go loose. Toes, knees, legs, butt, arms, chest, drop. Were you holding yourself a little tightly? It's something I tend to do. Hold myself like this, a little clenched. And one of the best things for me to figure out whether or where my anxiety is sitting is to let my body go and think, oh yeah, lower it. What you're doing then is stimulating the relaxation response. I think you've probably heard about it before, I've discussed it before on the, or Gwyneth for sure has, parasympathetic versus sympathetic nervous systems, two sides of your central nervous system. Sympathetic is your fight, flight, stress response side. Parasympathetic is the opposite of that, the relaxation, calming. When you relax your body physically, take deeper belly-based breaths, let everything go, sink down into whatever it is you're sitting or lying on, you're stimulating the parasympathetic nervous system and you are lowering the sympathetic nervous system function. Really helps with that baseline anxiety. So when you're facing a situation about which you're feeling your anxiety level come up, just stopping and checking where your body is in that particular moment in time is really helpful.